Yo, brother, it's time for us to start talking the real, man. We've been sugarcoating too much. We've got to start calling everything out for what it is.
Hey guys, I'm out on a ride on the Nosfet Apex River Ride. And first, a huge shout out to Jason E-Wheels and Nosfet for providing me this wheel for testing and play, have fun with, and I'm doing both. Today I thought as I'm going on a little ride, I'd talk to you about what's been happening with this wheel, and also why there's been so much hate on this wheel. At least that's what I've been seeing on the various community chats, it seems. But more on that later. It's a beautiful day to be riding in Southern California. It's November 21st. It's in the afternoon. I know I'm a broken record, but it's a sunny day. Not a cloud in the sky. I think we might be getting a little storm coming our way briefly. Next week a little bit maybe. It's Thursday today. And it's temperatures are it's beautiful. It's like, I think it's about 75 degrees. So couldn't ask for a better day to ride. Only bad thing is the days are short, right? Sunset's 4:45 right now. Oh well, could be worse. So this wheel, you might have seen some couple of my previous videos. I'll post a link here. Matt Burt had this wheel extensively before me. Little history: I got the wheel, new wheel, shipped in from China, and took it on a ride at Fullerton Loop, and there's a few miles into the ride, the linkage broke, basically. And I think it might have been a combination of, this was version 1 of linkage, combination of weak linkage material and the bolts, the pivot point bolts that attached the upper part of the shock were kind of loose, and that allowed the linkages to misalign. Thus, with the jumping that Roger was doing, they broke. Didn't fully understand what had broken exactly, but he gave the wheel to Matt because wanted to really get his experience with the wheel, because Matt is his favorite wheel is the Lynx, and this wheel has a lot of shared components with the Lynx. Same. Basically the same control board software, the firmware, Heritage control board, though it's different. Motor. I don't know about the battery. I'm going to guess the batteries share the same battery packs and the BMSs. So gave it to Matt. He took it, and he took it apart and discovered that the teeth had sheared off. So he got new linkages sent to him. Well, actually, I got the linkages and I gave them to. I had already had the linkages, version 2, which were used a hardened aluminum, better made. So I gave them to Matt when he took the wheel, and he put the linkages on, and that's what I'm using right now. So those newer hardened aluminum linkages, the black ones, they've taken a lot of abuse from Matt's riding. He probably put close to 50 miles of black diamond type riding, 40 to 50 miles on that on these linkages. So they've been running perfect. But then he had a problem with the shock. The shock seals broke. So Nosfet sent him a replacement shock. It's the same shock, but the manufacturer of that shock is providing better seals that work with this particular wheel. And that's what I'm riding right now, and that's what Matt rode with. And he also switched, they sent him the upgraded shock, and they also sent him the coil shock that's going to be available for the wheel. And he put the coil shock on, ran it for a little while, but then started having problems, and he was attributing it to the shock, but later we think it's pretty much has to do with the stanchions, not the shock. So I'm anticipating, hopefully I'm going to have the time to put that coil shock on. It's super easy to change on this wheel, and I want to give it a shot, see how it feels. And the last problems that Matt was having was stanchion stiction. Basically the stanchions get grime and dirt on them, and particularly all the type of riding that Matt was doing was on dusty dirt trails in Southern California, and we have a lot of real fine dry dust. Gets everywhere. And probably most of you guys in the country or the world don't have that kind of dirt, dust. You have more like dirt, typical dirt. Probably a more moist dirt because it rains where you live periodically. So I'm guessing most of you guys probably won't have any issues with that, but that is something to have to deal with on this wheel. And I expect some improvements in the stanchion seals, the mechanism that kind of keeps them clean. I mean, because Begode has stanchions, and I guess they might not be the best, but they don't get sticky. This wheel does. But now I've had the wheel and I've lubricated up, and I'm not having any issues with it sticking. So I really suspect it's just, if you're going to ride in a real dusty environment, you're probably going to have to clean those stanchions maybe after every tough ride. It is easy to get to the stanchions, by the way, to clean them as a plus. So that's where the wheel stands before he gave it back to me. Now, since I did get the wheel back from Matt, I did have one problem. After I was riding it for a bit, I was riding it with the default position that he had it, the height. I think it was maybe kind of a middle position, and I wanted to, ride it in the higher position, and I couldn't, for the life of me, I could not disengage the teeth with the levers. I mean, the levers barely moved, and even when I kind of forced them into the correct position, or tried to, I just could not get them to disengage. Just didn't know what was going on. I talked to Jack Nosfet, we worked together a little bit on it. Basically, I ended up taking it slightly apart. The part that, well, it's hard to describe, but there's two bolts that connect the linkages to the upper part of the shock, and I had to take those out, and then I was able to forcibly disengage the teeth. And I think it was basically a leftover effect from all the dirt and dusty riding that Matt had been doing. And you know, so when I was able to finally disengage them, I cleaned them a bit and applied spray lubrication. Basically a spray suspension lubrication you can buy in a can. There's lots of brands of this stuff, and so I literally sprayed all the components, put it back together, and then it became then it worked just as it did originally, maybe even a little better. So again, I'm attributing that to previous riding conditions, but in general, this wheel, you know, to keep everything working fine, and maybe this is something we should all do with our suspension wheels. I'm pretty lazy, like a lot of us, I think. I just get a wheel and I ride it, and I don't do much preventive maintenance in terms of taking things apart and lubricating everything after every other ride or after a couple 100 miles. No, but maybe we should. I don't know. My position is, realistically, anyone who gets this wheel, you're gonna experiment a little bit with the height, and then you're gonna end up setting it to something, and you're not gonna change it. Mostly. You know, I like it where it is right now. I just don't have any, except for the kind of cool factor of being able to adjust the height. I just don't see the need to. NOSFET is sending me a third set of linkages, which I think is great. That this just goes to in my mind goes to show you that they're not satisfied with just getting a wheel out there and you know, live with it, right? They want to make the best wheel they can too. So this third iteration of the linkages is same hardened aluminum. Apparently there was some possible manufacturing, I don't want to say defect, but some way that the other ones were being manufactured had the potential to make some of the metal weak in some way. I don't know, but they've fixed that apparently, and they've added more teeth to the, I guess what you would call the gear mechanism. Well, it's obviously not gears, but you know, the teeth that interlock, holds everything together. They've added teeth to that, and I can't remember how many. So I will be getting that next few days, and I'll install those, and hopefully that'll be hopefully for me and hopefully for them. That's the final iteration for this mechanism. But again, I don't see what they're providing me as next. I don't see that as corrective action, because they're not correcting something that's failed. It's more preventive. They're anticipating potential problems, and they just want to get ahead of the ball. One other change that Matt made to this wheel was he put on a Shinko 241. See, he's one of these tire nerds that I hate to say it, I'm maybe slightly starting to become one, because when I've put on some better tires, it really does make the wheel feel nice. So he put this, it's a knobby, and I definitely like the ride better than that stock knobby they put on this, the Kenda. But it's still not my favorite tire now. I love the TNT. If you buy this wheel from eWheels, you're going to have the option of the two TNT tires, the street or that cross, that kind of knobby. I think either one is great, but the street, if you're going to mostly ride street, pick that tire for sure. This tire rides better, but it still's got that fall over effect. So when I'm doing a 180, on a sidewalk or something, it doesn't give you a lot of confidence. It feels like it's going to potentially, fall over. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm running that on this tire about 30 psi. That's about what I like. And I do have a street, the street TNT. I'm going to install that hopefully tomorrow, Friday. I'm going to be taking this wheel to the, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, TEF1 races on Saturday in Southern California. A bunch of people coming in for that, so I'm going to take it, not to race, just to spectate. But I figure I'd bring the wheel, let some of the racers check it out if they're interested. And I think the best tire to have on that for that would be that TNT. Well, the best tire that at least I have access to right now. So hopefully I'll be doing that tomorrow, and that I don't have any problems. So it shouldn't be. It's pretty similar to changing a tire in a Lynx for this wheel. I'll probably make a little video about it. So I'm really enjoying the ride of the Apex. I have the suspension a couple notches from the very top, so it's riding high, but and then I have about 230 psi in the shock, and feels nice and comfy for me. Make no mistake, it's not a Librachem. That part they didn't copy from Librachem. So yeah, it's no Sherman suspension, that's for sure. But it's nice. I like it, and it rides. The wheel rides really nice. It feels very stable to me. It brakes nice. To me, in my opinion, I like it better than the Blitz in terms of stability. If I had to pick between this and the Blitz, I would take this wheel. even though it's missing a couple things that the Blitz has, like ability to have a seat or a trolley handle. But in terms of stability, the Blitz never felt really super stable to me relative to other wheels. Braking and I don't know, not so with this wheel. And let's see what else. And so the power pads. Let me show you what I put on. I put on these Power Knobs style pads. They're knockoffs, printed by a local friend. I'm not going to mention who they are because there's a lot of people out there who definitely put out a lot of hate for people who print copies of commercial power pads. So that's the stuff. But I really need something like these going up these embankments, and I live where there's mountains. Going uphill, definitely need something up here. So I put these little mini pads in the front. They're from Dan Grammer. You see this, Dan? Thanks again. I got a couple sets of these, and they're perfect. They don't. I have this set up so I have to kind of wedge my foot in here. This one's a little bit looser, but that way I can kind of hop up over stuff now. But this provides just enough for my leg to hit it to be able to climb up stuff without these power knobs don't quite do it for me. So that's the configuration I currently have it in, and again, I'm really enjoying the general ride of this wheel for the kind of riding that I do. Okay, let's talk about NOSFET hate. And I am kind of giving it, I am calling it hate because it seems to be a lot of vitriol, ugly speech comments that I see in various social, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, where I hang out, and some other groups. I just don't get it. Here's a group of people got together and decided to bring a new wheel to the UC community, and these people love wheels too, by the way. They're riding. It's no secret that Jack is one of them. He's been around. I've known him ever since I've been riding. So they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on the line getting a wheel together. And because it's not perfect, by the way, no wheel is perfect, guys, if you haven't known that yet. And then because it's using some elements from Librachem, for some reason that's bad. I don't know why. They're making use of the maturity that Librachem has developed with their wheels. And I think over time, I imagine NOSFET has aspirations to maybe fully go their own way and over time develop their own unique bottom-up firmware, motor, batteries, etc. But to get off the ground, they've leveraged stuff from Librachem. But yet they've made their own unique product here. And again, it's not perfect, and it's okay to have to criticize. I mean, I'm criticizing them. It's not a perfect wheel, but there's a difference between criticism, constructive criticism, and just mean comments. And I'm not gonna espouse exactly the mean comments. I think all you guys know what I mean. I think you've all seen it. Maybe even some of you have been making those mean comments, and maybe there'll probably be some of those mean comments in the to this video. You know, such is life. But they put together a unique wheel. This is a fun wheel. Fundamentally, it's a great riding wheel. I put in the class of a Lynx, because obviously it has the bones of a Lynx, really. And let's see, I gotta decide what I'm gonna do here. This is busy, rush hour traffic right now. And it's got three. My voice. It's got three really unique aspects to this wheel that other wheels don't have. It has the much larger suspension travel. It has an adjustable suspension. You're going to have low pedals, almost no suspension, or you're going to have high pedals. And it allows customization of the suspension, of the shock. You know, if you buy a Librachem wheel, you pretty much can't modify the suspension or put your own shock on it. You have to live with what it is. So I think those are the three primary unique characteristics of this wheel that set it apart from others. And yeah, there's a little bit of growing pains with the linkages. But again, they're on the third iteration, and I haven't had any problems with this iteration, or Matt hasn't, so the third one is just preventive. Let me get past this intersection. So look, this wheel is not a wheel from my collection, and I'm not, obviously not your usual typical rider. I mean, I have 16 wheels right now, 17 with this, but I own 16. You know, so this doesn't really offer anything that I need. The closest wheel to it would be a Lynx, and I have a Lynx, right? And I don't need the adjustability of the suspension. I don't do, you know, hardcore trail riding where I need a better suspension. So this wheel is not a wheel that's marketed to me. Now I know Jack has said this is the wheel that if someone only wants one wheel, they can use this one. I'm not convinced. I mean, you know, it's a 2,700 watt hour battery. It's definitely in the middle. It's definitely kind of a generalist wheel for sure, I think. But you know, are people really going to be adjusting the suspension up and down as they ride throughout the day? I don't know. Again, like I said before, I think you're just going to fiddle with it for a little while. pick the suspension that you want, that you like the best. You're going to set it, and you're going to leave it. That's what I think. But I think, as Matt said, I think the people who are probably going to really like this wheel are the ones who are going to do hardcore trail riding. Personally, I think that's where it's going to excel. I think for purely a street wheel, you're going to want to. I think you're going to want a seat. And for more of a street wheel, you're probably going to want a trolley handle. Those are the two big negatives for me personally. Again, for the style riding that I do. So I think where this is going to really excel is the trail riding, because that's where you're going to want this large suspension travel and to be able to put your own high performance shock on the wheel. All that's easy to do with this thing, and it's got a 95 millimeter distance between the battery packs, so you can put any tire you want on this wheel, unlike some other EUCs. So for me, the two features that I dislike the most, and they're not deal breakers, is no flat platform on the top to be able to put a seat on. I think that's a miss. That's not critical for me, because this is not a size wheel that I would do a lot of seated riding on. But I was enjoying the Blitz seated riding, which has even a smaller battery. So, but trolley handle is a big miss in my opinion. I don't think any wheel made 2024 or later should come without a trolley handle built in. It's doable. Even on this wheel, if they could have put a trolley handle like Pagoda's doing, those lever types that are, they're not perfect, but they function, they can work. I can go to the store with them. But something I really like about this wheel, I love where they put the charge ports. I hate the charge ports on the Leapercam wheels. It's a pain in the butt to get to. And then the Pagoda wheels, they're not awful to get to, but they're a little, I got to reach under the shell. But these things are right, staring you in the face, kind of like the Extreme Bold too. They have nice placements on theirs. And In Motion, other wheels do. Kingsong, not as much. I like the charge ports. The kickstand is pretty cool. And let's see, the light. I think the light's real cool. I got to show you a video riding this thing at night. Might be the best light on any EUC yet. It's got 3 brightnesses. Anyway, that'll be a separate video, but yeah, the light is great. And again, the ride's great. I'm expecting the ride to be amazing with the TNT tire. Again, I love that tire. So a good street tire in this wheel, it's gonna just make it ride even that much better. So, I'm not gonna crap on Nosfet. I'm really glad there's another player that's making performance wheels, not beginner wheels. Like for instance, typical, not like an emotion. They're getting into it for the masses. These guys are making a wheel, a performance wheel for the true enthusiasts. So I guess I'll just end with the suggestion that let's give NOSFIT some love. Give them constructive criticism. And you can say whatever you want, of course, but I'm just suggesting let's give them constructive criticism, but applaud them where they've succeeded, and wish them the best, because I'm hoping that this is the first of many new wheels coming out in the future, and that they'll learn some lessons from this introduction. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for today's ride. I'm going to the TEF1 races, TEF1, well, however it's pronounced, on Saturday. So maybe I'll get some video of that next. And let me get around this bicyclist. And until next time, safe riding.